earliest memories of a radio single as a child would have been something like Try Again by Aaliyah. And I remember it so vividly because my mother was an ancient history teacher and our house was kind of full of this ancient Egyptian paraphernalia, and Aaliyah in this Try Again video had this kind of exotic Egyptian style to her, and I just remember kind of Egyptianing around the lounge room to this song. So I guess now I have to sing it to you. What would you do to get to me? What would you say to have your way? Would you give it up or try again? If I hesitated to let you in, you know our chemistry is off the chain. It's perfect now, but will it change? This ain't a yes, this ain't a no. Just do your thing, we'll see how it goes. Oh, if at first you don't succeed, you can dust it off and try again. Dust yourself off and try again, try again. Oh, if at first you don't succeed, you can dust it off and try again. Dust yourself off and try again, try again. Oh. So I got my name into. It's pretty hard to answer because it's really not a life with a lot of routine or a set schedule. So I'm songwriting a lot and therefore I'm traveling a lot. So far this year I've already been to sort of songwriting camps in Reykjavik, London, Stockholm, planning a trip to LA, New York and Toronto later this year. So yeah, as you can imagine, it's pretty hard to kind of have a set schedule and outline a typical day. Would be to say something like waking up early, kind of having a moment of panic, trying to find my passport, throwing a suitcase together, you know, meeting people that I've never met before to write a song, putting something together, eating a lot of food afterwards. And of course then there's also the travel associated with performing live, so performing as Cat Vinter and also doing backing vocals for a few artists. So yeah, that's a lot of moving around and a lot of sleep deprivation, I guess. But I can't complain because you don't really get bored in this line of work, I don't think. Well, I was supposed to play in Australia in Brisbane at this kind of midsummer pool party. So it was outdoors and it was very, very humid and very hot. And you know, the idea is just that we play a gig and everyone's in the pool and it's that kind of thing. And basically then this big tropical storm came in and with hurricane force winds, and all the tech guys are like scrambling to get all the electrical equipment out of the crazy weather. And we ended up in the girls' sort of toilet and change room, and that's where we played the show. Because we thought, what the hell, let's just put the PA on in here and play the show anyway. So it was, yeah, very different environment, not very acoustically suited for this kind of thing, but it ended up being a really kind of fun, sweaty, intimate show at the end of the day, and I think we ended up in the pool in the end anyway. So. I have played a show before where I sort of stacked it head first off the stage, and as I put my hand out onto a stair, I sort of like gave it a little slice in the palm. I still have a scar there. And yeah, well, the show must go on, so was sort of pumped up, full of adrenaline and probably a bit of tequila, and I kind of realized that it was sort of squirting out, spraying on a few people, so I just kind of like put my hand behind my back and pressed it against my white shirt. And yeah, at the end of the show I kind of had like an entire back full of blood, and I made it all the way to the end. And then at the end I was a bit like, I might need to go throw up now and or go to the hospital, but at least they made it through to the end. So not exactly a Dave Grohl moment, but still worthy of a rock star mention, I think. My grandmother gave me a cassette tape of History by Michael Jackson, and it really was among one of my most prized possessions, and I remember having to stick the pencil in to keep the tape nice and taut. I remember that it was replaced a few times to avoid complete hysteria, but yeah, I have a very strong connection to that record because it's probably the first body of work that I was completely obsessed with. Get so lost. It was actually one that played at the last DNA showcase, Antonio Graham. I had heard of his name through a couple of mutual friends, and I knew his last band, Reptile Youth, and yeah, I thought it's definitely worth to see what his new direction is like and how he's been inspired by being in Berlin for a while. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed his live show and his presence and his new sound, and I recently interviewed him for a magazine, and now it looks like we might even be going on tour together in September. So yeah, it goes a little bit beyond just discovering an artist. It became more of a discovering and then stalking and then working together with an artist. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Antonio Graham, I think he's definitely one to watch.